Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to explain how to become a pilot in Canada. If you've always wanted to become a pilot in Canada but had no idea where to start, this video will give you a complete breakdown of the process. But before we begin, aviation in Canada is run by Transport Canada, meaning everything licensed and regulations comes from Transport Canada. For more information, you can visit the Transport Canada website, and this has the Canadian aviation regulations and flight test exam criteria. Before we get into the process, there are a list of training types, license types, and ratings that should be acquired to become a pilot in Canada. And the first license type is the private pilot license, second is the commercial pilot license, and third is the air transport pilot license. Within these licenses consist of ratings, and this is light rating, instrument rating, and the multi-engine rating. So earlier on I mentioned about training types, and there are two training types that a student pilot can take to become a pilot in Canada. And the first one is the modular training type. Modular training type allows a student to complete each license or rating in a step-by-step way at their own pace, and this can be found in a flying club. This is also known as part-time flying. However, you can fly full-time, but it depends on your instructor's availability, your availability, and weather delays. Then the next is integrated training type, which allows you to complete all license types and ratings in a structured full-time program that combines everything in one course, and this can be found in an aviation university or aviation college, and this is full-time flying only. So the first step in order to become a pilot in Canada is to book your introductory flight at the nearest flight training unit. And in this introductory flight, the instructor will take you into the sky, of course, and give you a feel of the controls, and you will make a turn and climb and descent, and the instructor will land the aircraft. After your introductory flight, the next step is to book an aviation medical exam with your aviation medical examiner. And I would personally recommend getting the category 3 medical, because once you get to the aviation medical examiner, the examiner would ask you what type of or what category of medical are you getting, and it is recommended to get the category 3 medical for the private pilot license, because you need a medical before you can actually fly. Medical is very important. So the reason why I say category of license is because there are 4 categories of medicals, sorry, not licenses, medicals, and you can check this out on the Transport Canada website. So now we are getting into the license and ratings. So the first type of license is the private pilot license. This allows you to fly in VMC, and the full meaning of VMC is visual meteorological conditions. And the basic requirement to actually acquire your private pilot license is you have to be 17 years and older. You should be eligible for a category 3 medical or higher, no criminal record, and a minimum of 45 hours total flight time with a written exam, and this written exam must be completed as well. The written exam, to actually write the written exam, you must have 40 hours of ground school depending on your school, and with this written exam contains air law, meteorology, general knowledge, and pilot navigation. So now the PPL, or the private pilot license, has flight time requirements, and the first requirement is 45 total time requirement, which is minimum. Within this 45 total time, you need 17 dual of private pilot training, 12 solo pilot in command time. Within this 12 solo hours, you need 5 hours of cross country. Cross country meaning you fly from your area of training to another airport or to another aerodrome. And this requires you to complete it with a 150 nautical mile trip or distance. So that's the private pilot flight time requirements. So within the private pilot license, you will need to go solo. And to go solo, there are 2 prerequisites that you must acquire. And the first is the radio operator certificate, which is the ROC A, and you will need a 70% pass. The next one is the P Star, which is also the pre-solo test air regulations. You would need a 90% pass. When these are complete, you'll be able to go solo within the circuit, and after, you will earn your student pilot permit. So what is a student pilot permit, you might ask? A student pilot permit is authorized by the flight instructor and allows the holder to act as a PIC of an aircraft. Example, a single engine aircraft. If you were wondering what a single engine aircraft looks like, here is one. And for the written exam, as mentioned above, you would need to get a pass grade of 60% minimum. And the subjects include air law, meteorology, navigation, and general knowledge, as mentioned before. And after all these are completed, you have your private pilot license. Now, after your private pilot license comes the ratings. These ratings also contribute to your commercial pilot license, and we'll talk about later on in this video. So the night rating is the first rating you will get after your private pilot license, and this allows a holder to operate an aircraft or a single engine aircraft at night, and this requires minimum 10 hours minimum, because a student might decide to spend more time getting their night rating. There is no written exam required because the PPO covered the written portion for the night reading, so you do not have to worry about a written exam when you're acquiring your night reading, because the PPO covered that. The next type of rating is the instrument rating, and this allows you to fly, or allows a holder to fly, a single engine aircraft in IMC. So IMC is Instrument Meteorological Conditions. And within the instrument rating, there are 2 types of instrument rating, and the first type is the Group 3 instrument rating. Group 3 instrument rating allows you to operate a single engine in IMC. The second type of rating or instrument rating is the Group 1 instrument rating, and this is the multi-engine instrument rating. But before you can get the Group 1 instrument rating, you will need a multi-engine rating. Both Group 3 and Group 1 instrument rating require a minimum of 40 hours to complete, and a written exam is required, and it's called the INRAT written exam. You would need a 70% pass to complete the INRAT written exam. So now the multi-engine rating is the next type of rating we're going to discuss, and this allows you to fly an aircraft with 2 engines, so a multi-engine. And training begins with a piston. This requires 7 to 15 hours of training. 7 to 15 is normally the average, but you could go further to about 20 hours, but it doesn't take long. After this, you'll be able to operate an aircraft or any aircraft with 2 engines. The next type of license is the commercial pilot license, and this allows you to get paid. So the private pilot license is just for leisure or just for fun, whereas the commercial pilot license allows you to get paid. And the basic requirements of the commercial license is to be minimum 18 years or 18 years and older, or 18 years or older, my bad. And you need to have a valid category 1 medical. You can find the validity period and the eligibility for a category 1 medical on the Transport Canada website. And the flight time requirement for a commercial pilot license is minimum 200 total time. Within these 200 total time consists of 100 hours of pilot in command, 65 hours of commercial pilot training, which consists of 35 dual with your instructor and 30 hours solo. You also need 20 hours of instrument time and 5 hours of night time. The last thing you also need to complete your commercial pilot license is to get 20 hours of cross-country time, including a 300 nautical mile trip. So you could do as many trips as you need, and it should add up to 300 nautical miles. You don't need to necessarily get 300 nautical miles in one flight. The CPL license has a written exam, and it requires you to get a 60% pass minimum, same as the PPL. After you have acquired your commercial pilot license, the next type of license is the highest type of license, which is the air transport pilot license. And the basic requirement is to be 21 years and older or older with a valid category 1 medical. The flight requirement of flight prerequisites requires you to have 1500 hours of total flight time, and the breakdown of that will be 250 hours of pilot in command, 100 cross-country hours, and 75 instrument time. The air transport pilot license has written exams as well, and the first one is the SARON, or Sierra Alpha Romeo Oscar November, which consists of air law, aircraft operations, and general navigations. This requires you to have a 70% pass. The second type of written exam within the air transport pilot license is the SAMRA exams, which is also Sierra Alpha Mike Romeo Alpha. And this is the meteorology exam, which requires 70% or 70% pass. Also consists of the radio aids and navigation as well. You can still obtain your air transport pilot license before reaching 1500 hours, and it's also known as the frozen air transport pilot license. After 1500 hours, it becomes unfrozen. Now, this is where it gets interesting, because this is the most asked questions when it comes to pilot training in Canada. So now we are talking and discussing about estimated costs. The reason why I say estimated cost is because it depends on your province, location, school, and aircraft flown. So these choices actually depend or shape how much you, or determine how much you will spend during your flight training. So flight training for PPL ranges from $15,000 or 15,000 Canadian dollars to 25 Canadian dollars. That's for the private pilot license. The night rating estimates from $4,000 to 6,000 Canadian dollars. Instrument rating is an estimated cost of $8,000 to $16,000. CPL also has a range of $30,000 to $60,000. Just to remind you, these prices or costs depend on your province, location, school, and aircrafts flown. Just so you know, these exclude housing costs or any other expenses outside of aviation. With the air transport pilot license, I cannot really give you an amount specifically because it also depends on where you get the air transport pilot license. When I say it depends, is some could get it within the airline or some could get it within a company. It depends. Now, another question that is mainly being asked or is on the minds of a lot of people who would like to get into aviation is, how long does it take to become a pilot? And my honest answer is, it depends on your schedule, it depends on your financing, and it depends on whether you are willing to train full-time or part-time. All these factors determine or shape how long your aviation training will be, as well as weather delays. So that is the entire breakdown of the licensing, ratings, and the training types required to become a pilot in Canada. If you have any more questions, feel free to comment down below in the comment section. Like this video, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching this, and have a nice day. Bye bye.